TNCRadio.LIVE, your commercial driver navigation station.
Good afternoon. This is TNCRadio.LIVE, and this is the Truckers Network Radio Show with your host, Shelly Johnson.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Yes, this is the Truckers Network Radio Show on TNCRadio.LIVE, where we offer the news, sports, weather, traffic, and entertainment that commercial drivers want to hear. You know, women commercial drivers comprise over 10% of the professional trucking community. Statistically, they have a lower rate of violations and accidents, and there are organizations that want to get more women in the industry. Empowering women to come into the trucking industry has been the passion of Sharae Moore, who founded S.H.E Trucking in 2017 in Tennessee. S.H.E Trucking, LLC, not only provides CDL training with a 100% pass rate, but empowers ladies throughout the community and through mentorship. The S.H.E Trucking Sisterhood has the largest Facebook group with over 10,000 professional women in transportation, where women can share topics, mentor, and network. Sharae Moore is with us today, along with Aubrey Oden, Ashley Watson, and Latoya Gerard of S.H.E Trucking. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hello.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. I guess I'll start with Sharae. What inspired you to start S.H.E Trucking? I mean, what a great organization.
Well, and thanks for having us on today. I was driving across the United States looking for a simple T-shirt that said I was a lady trucker or just a woman who drove the truck, and I couldn't find any. So I actually started a clothing line. It started off as S.H.E Trucking Apparel. I started creating shirts that said lady trucker. Yes, I'm a woman. Yes, I'm a truck driver. Passing it out to drivers 6 years ago. And I started meeting so many women on the road that we had to create a community.
What a great idea.
Thank you.
And you started the community and then it just kind of evolved from there?
It did. It organically grew by word of mouth because we started offering a mentorship program. With our mentorship program, it's 100% free. They can join our Facebook community. Women can join our Facebook community and grab a mentor. It's 100 mentors waiting just to help. Any question that women had in our community, we answered. No question was dumb. We wanted to make sure that we was an assistant to anyone that had questions on the road. A lot of our mentors are trainers at companies as well. So we have, been able to help people get started in their career all the way to getting through the training process by being trained by a woman. And a couple years ago, that's all you heard was, I want a woman trainer. Well, now you don't hear that anymore because the women trainers are now available. So,
I find it interesting that they didn't have women trainers before. You would think that that would have been something that would have been done.
Well, years ago, most women would, be with their significant others or husbands. There wasn't a lot of solo women on the road.
Okay.
So, and a lot of women just don't want to train, So it was a limited number of trainers. And of course, there's more that's needed. There's so many women that's coming into the industry now that we need more good trainers on the road.
Would you say that women are more comfortable being trained by another woman?
Yes, and it really depends on the person. Everyone has their own preference. I believe that everyone should have a choice, and that choice shouldn't be taken away. I actually had a male trainer myself, so that worked out better for me. But a lot of the women prefer a woman trainer. I don't. Aubrey, did you have a woman trainer when you went through training?
So luckily for me, my fiance actually trained me. And if I wouldn't have had that opportunity, I definitely would not have been comfortable enough to be on a semi truck for, sometimes training is 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes it could take up to 3 months. So just imagine being on a truck with somebody that you're unfamiliar with or you have no relationship with, no space, no privacy, and them training you.
That makes sense. That would feel intimidating, I would think, especially because you're entering a whole new world in terms of a career, and it's somebody that you don't know, and it's somebody of the opposite sex. It might be a little intimidating, especially privacy issues and.
Definitely. It's a lot of things that happen during training that we try to make sure that all of our members are aware of, to keep them safe while they're on the road, making sure that they protect themselves from any type of harassment or rape that can happen while you in the truck with the trainer.
What kind of concerns have you heard? Oh, go ahead. I don't know who is chatting here, so.
No, I was going to say LaToya, she is on the line and she's had experiences. She was trained by a man, and she had an experience with that. So LaToya would be the best person to speak on this subject.
Okay.
Yes, I was just about to speak up. So yes, I did. I actually went through 2 male trainers and then eventually went to a female trainer. So I started out, my husband and I went to school together. We went in 2013. And so I preferably on my application, I wanted a female trainer because this is just naturally, I feel more comfortable being with another female. Another woman understands the way our body functions and different things. So I felt like a female trainer would actually be able to understand or be able to deal with situations or whatever that may arise while I'm in training. So I waited a few weeks and they told me, well, we're still waiting on a female trainer, that we don't have any trainers. And I'm thinking, I left everything to go to truck driving school so that I can better my life. And I'm not working. So, okay, I need to go ahead and change this to a male trainer just to be able to get out here so I can go ahead and work. So the first guy, he was fine, but he had family issues and he had to go home. So I was out for maybe 2 weeks with him. And then I had to sit in the hotel for a week. That was a pretty bad experience because I had to wait for my next trainer. So eventually they found another male trainer. And then this one was the situation where it kind of went bad, and he said things and made me felt very uncomfortable. And so it was things that were said and done. It's nothing to the point where it became illegal, but it's just the point of I felt very uncomfortable being on the truck and some of the stuff he relayed to me as far as with his past trainings. So I actually called the company that I work for. I won't speak the name, but I actually called the company. They took me they sent me a cab to the truck stop we were at and had me removed off the truck immediately. So I commend them for doing that because they made sure that I was safe before they let them know. And so then I had to wait. I waited 3 more weeks. So right now I'm sitting at almost close to 2 months going through training. My husband is done with training. We went to school at the same time. He went out with his trainer. He's done. He's waiting on me. And so I finally was able to receive a lady trainer. I was done with my training a week and a half later. And the amount of time they were taking, it would only took me 2 weeks to actually finish. So I went through almost 3 months of waiting to be with a lady trainer, because they didn't have any female trainers. And she was like, well, I'm glad you called me, because they kind of did an emergency thing to go ahead and get me through with her, because she had somebody else lined up. So she had students just sitting there waiting on her because she was a rare commodity at that company, a female trainer that most women want. And so I feel like this is very important when it comes to being out here on the road and having women that come in, because it's already a field that we feel intimidated. I wouldn't say feel intimidated, but we know that there's not many of us here. So right. Once we go out, we want to be able to be as comfortable as possible to be able to do our job. And so I think that's why so many women shy away from the field, because of that very reason. Oh, well, women, this is not you. I used to hear it. That's not a field for women. You can't stop and use the bathroom. You can't do this. You can't do that. But we're proving them wrong, because we're getting out here, we're doing it, and then we're looking good doing it. So I really want to be able to let everybody know that you really don't have to experience that. There's different avenues that you can go through, so you won't have to. Because I almost gave up trucking. I really almost gave up trucking because of that. I just the second time it was I just can't do it. And I talked to my husband and our family members. They kind of pushed me through and had a good support system. And that's the only reason why I stayed. But if it wasn't for that, I would have quit trucking because I felt like this is not going to be for me because of the experiences I had. So yeah, that's my piece.
Well, I think that you have some very valid points, and it makes absolute sense. And it's wonderful you had the support from your family and your husband, and you had the tenacity to say, "Hey, this is what I need." So good for you for that. But I imagine that that's not something that every woman would think about doing. So your organization is really filling a valuable need. And It just makes sense to me. If you're not comfortable with your trainer, you're not going to learn as well because you can't focus. And,
you really can't. Yeah.
A comfort zone and feeling safe and all of that and having somebody that you have maybe some camaraderie with. That makes absolute sense. We're going to be going to break here. There's so much more information I want to cover. We're talking with Sharae Moore, Aubrey Oden, Ashley Watson, and Latoya Gerard with She Trucking right here on TNCRadio.LIVE. Stay tuned for more.
Is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. Common mistakes truck drivers continue to make. Getting into a car wreck is a risk everyone takes from driving a vehicle. Safety's not guaranteed while driving. Although you may be alert and driving safe, others may not. Wrecks of any kind are almost always traumatic. Wrecks that include heavy-duty trucks can be even more horrific because their injuries can be more severe and life-threatening. Truck drivers go through a long, extensive training process and must pass several exams to get their CDL. Even though truck driving school prepares truckers for life on the road, there are still mistakes truckers continue to make. Speeding. There may be some instances where you're running late to get a load delivered on time, so you speed to get there. Speeding is dangerous for all drivers. Going over the speed limit is not only illegal, it's risky and can lead to injuries or even death. Avoid speeding at any time. It's better to arrive late than risking your life and others. Rollover. Truck rollovers are due to a driver taking a turn too fast, inexperience, or load size. Rollovers tend to happen when drivers get too comfortable behind the wheel and forget to take extra precautions while driving. Remember to always pay attention and be aware of what you're hauling. Tailgating. Tailgating or following too close is something every driver should avoid. Driving too close behind a vehicle is extremely dangerous for heavy-duty truck drivers due to the weight and momentum of the truck. Keep your distance while driving. There should be at least 3 seconds between each vehicle on the road. Driving while tired. Sleep is very important for the overall well-being and safety of a truck driver. Due to the long hauls, truckers rarely get the recommended 8 hours of sleep every night. Truck drivers can drive up to 11 hours a day for 7 consecutive days. Drivers who fail to follow these guidelines put their lives and others at risk. Blind spots. Semi-trucks are notorious for their blind spots. Most blind spots are due to the inability to see when looking through a rear view or side mirror. Truckers must always be aware of their blind spots while driving. Failing to do so can result in serious injuries. Distracted driving. It's hard not to get distracted on the road when driving for 11 hours a day. Common distractions are eating while driving, looking at the GPS, texting and talking on the phone. Truck drivers should avoid texting and driving at all times. They should also consider investing in a headset to use when talking on the phone while driving. Weather conditions. When the weather changes, drivers need to adjust their speed and distance between other cars. Driving too fast and close in the rain or snow can result in a severe accident. There may be times when it's not safe to drive even after reducing the speed. Make sure to never drive when you feel uncertain of the weather conditions. This blog was brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. Need a better driving job? Go to TNCRadio.LIVE/driverinfo.
This is the Truckers Network Radio Show. I'm Shelley Johnson here with Tom Kelly on TNCRadio.LIVE. With us today is Sharae Moore, Aubrey Oden, Ashley Watson, and Latoya Gerard from She Trucking, a great organization that's empowering women to get into the trucking industry. anyone who wants to speak up, feel free here. But one of my questions is, how do women get into the trucking industry? I believe, Sharae, you were saying that's a really important bit of information for women. And I know you want to encourage more women in trucking.
Absolutely. The first step to get into the industry is first get your CDL manual, get your CDL book, go to your driver's license center, DMV, and pick up your commercial driver's license manual. You can also download it online. The first step is getting your CDL permit. That's step number one. You have to have a commercial driver's license permit or a CLP. We offer it at S.H.E Trucking. If you go to SHEtrucking.com, we do have a virtual side, and we also have an in-person class as well that we offer. But that's step number one. Once you have your CDL permit, now you can sign up for any schools, any sponsored schools. You have WIOA programs, which are the government-funded programs that'll pay for your school with no contract, or you can go to a trucking school, or you can go to a local state school as well. And then that process is about a 4-week process. You're looking at 4 weeks to get your commercial driver's license before you can start driving for a company. And that the company is going to teach you how to do your pre-trip inspection, how to bag, and how to drive the truck.
So how long would you say that it takes to get comfortable driving a semi? I'm sure you have women that say, man, I can't do this. It's just too big. What do you say to ladies like that? Because, I mean, you guys, obviously, you're doing great. I mean, you do an awesome job.
Yeah. So I've been driving for 7 years now. And when I first started, I always tell people it takes about 4 to 6 months till you feel comfortable with backing. Driving forward is easy. To get in that truck and drive it forward, it's like driving a car. It's easy to go forward as long as you watching your mirrors. But backing up is the hardest part. It is the hardest part. And it takes about 4 to 6 months, sometime a year, until you feel comfortable. You'll know how to do it, but this is a skill. And every day you learn something new and build on it every day.
Well, there are people who can't back up a car very well, let alone parallel park. And, so something as large as a semi, I could see that would be intimidating. Are there any other things that I'm sure that there are people you encounter that say, can't, they put obstacles in front of themselves. What do you say to them? Because obviously you're doing it.
Ashley?
I would say for that, don't allow anyone to deter you from, your goals. Or if this is what you want to do, go forward. Don't let anybody stop you from what you really want to do. I am a single parent with 3 kids, and I got my CDL. I took a different route. I didn't go with a school per se, with a trucking company. I went through the school route because I needed to be home while going to school to take care of my kids and stuff along that line. But I went through trucking school with not really a support. My support was the sisterhood, and the sisterhood was able to encourage me when I needed the encouragement and motivate me and let me know that I wasn't in this industry by myself. So just, joining with having a strong support system, whether you have it locally or virtually, have someone to support you to go through it, but you can do whatever you put your mind to. Do not let anyone say that you can't do it, because you can do it, especially as women. Excellent.
Now, are you home every night? I mean, that's got to be a challenge, having a family to take care of too.
Yes. Well, luckily I'm able to be home. I was able to get a location that I'll be home every night. So I got a nice job, but now I am a CEO founder of my transportation management and consulting company. So, so I'm able to help other women build their infrastructure up to be able to, be successful in the industry. So, but initially when I started out, I was lucky enough to have a local job.
That's awesome. Yeah, because that's Being a single parent can be a challenge. And the trucking industry, as a driver, you have some real opportunities to make money. And I really love what you guys are doing. Now, what are some of the programs that are being offered at S.H.E Trucking? I know you folks wanted to talk about that because it's kind of multifaceted.
It is. So let me just add that a lot of women actually bring their kids on the truck. You just have to check with your company. I think they have, sometimes it's like 8 years old, or you just have to check with your company. But we do have rider programs. So you have a lot of families that have their kids on the truck with them. Absolutely. So, and it gives them the experience. So like my dad, he's a truck driver, right? So it made me want to drive. So a lot of times when you put your kids in the truck, it's passing down to the next generation. But we offer our annual conference, which is the S.H.E Trucking Expo. It's going to be during Trucker Appreciation Week, September the 17th through the 19th in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We also have apparel. Like I spoke about earlier, the S.H.E Trucking apparel is what started all of this. Just wanting a shirt and women to be proud of being truck drivers. We have the S.H.E Trucking podcast as well. You can find it on Facebook or any podcast platforms. We always doing free classes on as well. We do free webinars for our members to help them start their own trucking companies. As Ava was saying, with Cohesive Solutions, Ashley was saying with Cohesive Solutions, is she helped people start their own trucking companies as well. So you can start being a truck driver and go into dispatching, brokering, starting, compliance in different areas of transportation as well.
That's awesome.
Yes. And then we also have our kids mentoring program where we take our trucks out to the schools as well. We didn't get to do it last year, of course, but hopefully next year will be a better year. And at this event, we are, opening up to all kids. So this is a family-friendly kids event as well. So you can bring the whole family out. Since we didn't get a chance to take them last year, we want to make sure that they see the trucks and get the knowledge this year.
Well, I would imagine that by doing that, you really create a lot of interest that you might not have in the school system, where kids are thinking, "Wow, I could do this. This is neat," and that's an awareness I think that's needed.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yes, I absolutely agree as well. That's why with the event, we are giving away a scholarship during the event. So even though we're doing this event for trucker appreciation, a portion of the proceeds is going to one of the high schools that's there locally in Chattanooga to give to the youth that's graduating from 18 to 21. We're giving a scholarship out to help them, because a lot of kids don't want to go to college. So we're giving them a scholarship so that they can go and take up to become a CDL driver.
That's really good, because there's so many schools, I think, that have dismantled their VOTEC programs. They used to have it, decades ago. And this sort of thing, not everybody is a college-bound person. And they can start in a career at a very young age and make a fabulous living. And this is a very good program that you're offering. So what would you say? You had mentioned too that there were other concerns you had, like mental health. You wanted me to mention that that's one of your big priorities.
Yes. So with the event, we are bringing, we're also using the event to bring awareness of mental health that's in the trucking industry. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't know, but there's more than 17 million American adults that experience depression and stuff along that line. But truckers are about twice as likely to share that. So with the increasing numbers of the truckers with suicides and stuff along that line, we have to bring awareness to it, because the drivers are out there by themselves, and mental health we've lost a lot of truck drivers in reference to mental health. And transportation has the fourth highest rate among American working age adults. So that's very hard for us to have that, in the transportation.
Is it depression or is it the isolation that creates maybe some of the mental health issues in the trucking industry, you think?
I think it's a combination of the two, or just like, events that may happen while you're on the road. I think it's just a combination of life. The 7 year, I started having a lot dealing with depression when I was rear-ended in my car. And then I, wasn't able to drive. And so that really put me in a deep depression, because if your wheel's not turning, you're not earning. So
Sure.
Not having health insurance, a lot of drivers don't have any benefits like health insurance and stuff like that. So if you get sick, then you can't drive. So that means you're not making any money. That sets anybody into a depression. And I think it's just a combination of events that can happen.
Well, I think it's real important to talk about it. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, and you're absolutely correct. The health insurance issue, that's a major concern for a lot of drivers, because it's a cost. And mental health, if you don't address it, it's going to put stress on your body, which causes other health concerns, and it's a terrible domino effect.
Absolutely. So that's why we're doing like our truck and paint, which is it's art. We chose to go and paint together, listen to music for art therapy. Mm-hmm. That helped me while I was depressed. It just took me into a whole different world, and so I tell people I can't really explain how to get out, but I can show you what I did to come out of my depression. And so that's what we're going to be offering everyone at this event.
And that's in September. This is really, really cool. I'd like to get into more detail on some of this before we're going to actually be going to break here. But I'd like to go into some more detail on some of the really cool things you're doing to keep people driving, keep people motivated, feeling good about themselves, and get them in the industry. This is neat. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show. Here, I'm Shelly Johnson with Tom Kelly. We're talking to S.H.E Trucking. Stay tuned for more coming up. Budgeting tips for over-the-road truck drivers. Budgeting can be rather overwhelming at first. It requires a plan and self-discipline, but there's no need to be scared. Once you get the hang of budgeting, it'll become easy and will no longer feel like you're restrained from your finances. It's a good feeling to know exactly how much you're spending and where your money's going. Start budgeting today, and you'll begin to save money and see a difference in your finances. Here are some great budgeting tips for over-the-road truck drivers. Know your why. The first step to creating a budget is understanding your why. What is your reasoning for creating a budget? What do you want to accomplish? Are you trying to pay off debt? Are you trying to save for a big purchase? Or are you just wanting to be more conscious of your spending? Knowing your why before creating a budget will help motivate you and keep you on track. Set goals. Setting goals will help you achieve your why. To pay off debt or to save a specific amount, you need to know how much you need to be saving and budgeting each month. It's much easier to save and budget when you have a specific goal. Saving just to save does not always keep you motivated. Know your income. Since drivers typically get paid by the mail, drivers have a fluctuating income. Unless you have a dedicated route, your paychecks will vary. Drivers with a set income have a much easier time creating their budget because they know the exact amount they're bringing in every month. If you have a fluctuating income, it's best to know your baseline, meaning you need to know the bare minimum expenses that you need to cover every month. Analyze your spending. Next, you'll need to analyze your spending habits. You can do that by looking at your bank account and examining where you're spending most of your money. Are you spending most of your money at truck stops? Fast food restaurants? Another great way to evaluate your spending is to make a list in a notebook or your cell phone for every purchase you make throughout the month. Keeping track of your spending will not only give you an idea of how much you're spending each month, it will also make you more mindful of your spending. Needs versus wants. When budgeting, it's important to know the difference between needs versus wants. Things you need as a truck driver: food, place to sleep, clothing, toiletries. Things you may want: entertainment, TV, video games, computers, Netflix or Hulu subscription, accessories for your rig. As a budgeter, you need to pay attention to your needs first and save for the things you want. Set a limit. Setting a spending limit is the best way to keep yourself from overspending. Write down all your necessary living expenses and keep in mind how much you want to save each month. Then determine how much you want to spend. A good method to help you set a limit is the envelope system. Budgeting takes time and self-discipline. It's not easy at first, but over time, it will become easier and easier.
Enjoy the best in trucker-style music and comedy. Weeknights starting at 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, right here on TNCRadio.LIVE.
You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show here on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm Shelley Johnson with my co-host Tom Kelly. We're talking with Sharae Moore, Aubrey Oden, Ashley Watson, and Latoya Gerard with S.H.E Trucking. This is a great organization. I'm just amazed at all the different things that you're doing to encourage women, the mentorship and everything else. We were talking during the break that truckers have had a ton of stress during the pandemic, and they've got some unique needs when it comes to mental health, and they really deserve a mental break. Did you guys want to chat more about that on specific mental health needs for drivers?
Absolutely. Yes. This is Ashley Watson's department.
Okay, sounds good, Ashley.
Yes, I'm passionate about that because during the pandemic, the truckers didn't get a break. Like everyone else got to reset, but the truckers, we didn't get to reset. We didn't get those time off from our profession. And so that's why it's very important with this event that we give appreciation to the truckers because, I mean, they desperately need it. And then about to extend the hours of, truckers being out there with the fuel issues and stuff along that line. So mental health is very, very important, especially in the transportation industry.
And I think that the mentorship that you're offering, and in the forum where people can ask questions, maybe can they vent a little bit and say, hey, this is what I'm running into. They can actually have some camaraderie and people saying, yeah, that's normal. You'll be okay. I mean, the encouragement is something so important.
Absolutely. Facebook actually highlighted us when we first started the mentorship program. So we got to go to the Facebook headquarters and share, how we implement our mentorship. But it's very cool. Yes, we got to meet Sheryl Sandberg. She was the CEO of Facebook. She told me, she said, don't give up. That's why I kept pushing. And now, any member can have a mentor for free in our community. And it's your, your sister. It's a person that you can ask any questions to, that's not going to judge you and that you feel comfortable with, and you can vent and just have a sense of family out here on the road.
Well, when you think about it, women kind of work out their problems differently than men. So, I mean, being able to talk to another woman and saying, I just need to vent. Guys don't necessarily always vent. That's a cool thing to be able to have. And being able to talk to somebody who's been there, done that, got the T-shirt, that's real important because a lot of people, if they aren't drivers, would have no idea what you're talking about.
Absolutely. In our group, they call it a rant. They say,
rant?
I'm on my rant. Yes.
Okay.
A lot of posts says I'm on my rant. That's what the members say. And that's when we let them vent, and we really support each other and take care of one another, and that's what I love about our community and our mentorship.
I agree. One thing that I always, whenever I'm mentoring anyone to call, because I put my information out there so if anyone can call me inside of the group for the sisterhood if they just need someone just to talk to, just someone to listen and stuff like that. But I always go with this little quote. It's like, fix your sister's crown without letting the world know it was crooked. That is so important because, we all go through something. We just sometimes just need somebody to listen to us, but don't spread what we're going through out with everyone. So we're big on that in the group as well.
So there's a lot of trust there and confidentiality. That's super important. And I imagine you also maybe answer some questions if a woman driver needs some resources. She doesn't know how to maybe particularly handle a particular situation. That's important because sometimes when you're really upset, you can't think straight.
Absolutely. I was left stranded back in 2019, and without Real Women in Trucking, I don't know where I would have been. I'm gonna be honest. That's another great organization for women, Real Women in Trucking, Real, REAL. Mm-hmm. Women in Trucking. And that, when I tell you Desiree Wood, she's a mentor to me. She's a phenomenal woman and a trailblazer. And that's who mentored me when I came in, and I was like, I don't know what to do with all these women. She said, you got it. Just keep doing what you're doing. And Aubrey, I know you want to add on to this.
I was going to say most definitely when I started trucking, this group was like my rock. If I had questions about tandems and how to distribute my weight or just anything, like I remember one time I was like, this is the dumbest question. I didn't know how to strap my load because I wasn't taught that in school. So I made a post about it, and within seconds I had thousands of women helping me. Well, you do it this way, or this is how, if your load's heavy here, you need to go this way. So if you want real-time help by people that are not going to judge you or make fun of you, the group is definitely a great way to get that help. Most definitely. Even I've seen women be like, I don't have a shower credit at the TA. I have free showers at Love's, but I'm stopped at TA. Does anybody have a shower credit? I've seen women go on there and, oh, here you go, girl. No problem. Here you go, girl. So by the time they've asked for one, it's about 10 women that have tried to give them shower credit. So, I mean, the amount of help that you get from the group is just amazing. And it reminds you every day to get up and keep pushing and humble yourself and be there for everybody that's around you, because we're stronger together than we are separate. Absolutely. Well, that's huge. And you guys are the first to do this, I think, aren't you? To have a community where just basically anything can be talked about, and you provide a variety of services. I find it really, really awesome.
Yes, we wanted to make this community for everyone included, no matter what your cultural background is. We wanted to make sure that it's a community that you can feel welcome, and it is, and it's growing, organically growing, and we're so thankful for this opportunity to inspire so many women. We want to encourage. Listen, if you're on the fence right now, y'all are listening. Come on in the industry, because we're here to help you. We're going to help you and guide you through the whole process.
There's power in numbers, no doubt. And I bet you have really kept people who were thinking about quitting. You've kept them there. And that's got to feel so good.
Absolutely. We hear stories all the time. And then, we call and we check on our members and, helping them cross that. And like now, since we started our mentorship program 4 years ago, just think those women have 4 years experience. So, now they off and went through training to have experience, and a lot of them now own their own trucks. So we coach them through ownership. Ownership is so important. It's so important to get out here and own your truck. And so we, encourage them to keep moving forward. This is an $800 billion industry per year. So it's enough money for everybody. Come and get it.
Now, is it harder for women to get financed? I know that used to be an issue years ago. But is that an obstacle?
It is a huge obstacle. Trying to get financed, and you need to have your credit in order. That's number one, tip top. Mm-hmm. Number one, there are lease purchase programs that you can go through companies to learn the industry, but it's better to go out and try to finance a truck. through either a credit union or a bank or something, or just a finance company. Most of the companies want you to have something like some type of house or land or some type of rental to show that you pay on time. So having your bills and your business in order is important. Go establish your LLC at least 2 years prior. You can become an LLC or a S Corp or however you want to structure your business while you're just a driver. I mean, I was an LLC before I had on my truck, and I let the company pay me as an owner. So that's how I was able to establish my business as well. So we encourage people to, get your DUNS number, get that EIN number, and to establish your business entity and become entrepreneurs in the trucking industry.
And this is a wonderful resource you have, because this is where women can find out, because it's confusing. Most people don't think, well, what's an LLC? I'm sure people even ask that. I mean, to jump through all the hoops.
Yes. So
and to add to that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and to add to that, that's why it's so important. I see a lot of people ask, well, is this event just for truckers? No, it's not. If this is something that if you've only just thought about it for a second, we want you to come out to the convention, because you're going to see a lot of real life testimonies to people who have gotten women who have gotten this game, who have done above and beyond, who are doing phenomenal, and they're there to teach you and show you what to do, how to do it, what mistakes not to make. So if you're thinking about it, definitely come to the convention, because it's going to be people there that are willing to hand you out that knowledge.
And that's so important. And people realize, hey, this really can happen. Inspiration. That's what all of us need. We're going to be going to break, and definitely we're going to be covering some more information. You guys are doing a phenomenal job for women in trucking. This is the Truckers Network radio show here on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm Shelley Johnson, talking with She Trucking. We'll be back after this.
TNCRadio.LIVE is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. Common mental health issues truck drivers face. Every day the roads are full of heavy-duty trucks. Trucks are responsible for nearly 80% of America's freight. Being a truck driver is not an easy job, and it's not for everyone. Trucking can be hard on an individual, both physically and mentally. Suffering from mental health can put truck drivers in a dangerous situation. To safely operate a heavy-duty vehicle, drivers need to be physically and mentally healthy. Here are 4 common mental health issues that truck drivers face. Why mental health issues are common in truck drivers. Truck driving is a demanding job and can be very stressful at times. A stressful work environment leads to anxiety and depression. In addition to a stressful work environment, truck drivers spend a lot of time alone in their truck. Constantly being alone can affect one's mental health. Although many truck drivers suffer from mental health issues, some are afraid to get help because they fear losing their job. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, that's FMCSA, requires drivers to be in good health before receiving or renewing a commercial driver's license. The trucking industry is predominantly male. A study by RAHM states that men are less likely to get treatment for their mental health than women. It's important for drivers to take care of their mental health as much as their physical health. Common mental health issues in truck drivers. Depression. Depression is an illness that affects you mentally, physically, and emotionally. It's very common in the trucking industry. Being alone and away from friends and family contributes to depression. It's important to know the difference between feeling down and having depression. If you feel that you're experiencing depression, seek out help. Depression is serious and can affect your ability to operate your truck. Anxiety. Because of how stressful trucking can be, anxiety is very common for drivers. This is especially true for new drivers. Many experienced drivers have reported having anxiety and panic attacks while on the road. It's important to know the difference between new driver anxiety and generalized anxiety. If you're often experiencing anxiety while working, take the necessary steps to get help. Chronic sleep disturbances. A good night's rest is crucial to truck drivers. Not having enough sleep can make it dangerous to operate a heavy-duty vehicle. Because of a truck driver's living and work situation, good sleep can be difficult. A NCBI study reports that 20 to 28.6% of truck drivers have an unspecified sleep disorder, and 27.5% of truck drivers are diagnosed with insomnia. Sleep is extremely important for your mental and physical health. If you're experiencing problems sleeping while trucking, consider seeking professional help. Loneliness. Truck drivers spend many days and weeks isolated in their truck. According to Business Insider, nearly a third of drivers say being alone is a significant issue affecting their mental health. This blog on TNCRadio.LIVE has been brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. TNCRadio.LIVE, your commercial driver navigation station.
You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm Shelley Johnson here with Tom Kelly, and we're talking with Sharae Moore, Aubrey O. Watson, and Latoya Gerard with S.H.E Trucking. You guys have such a very cool organization. I really love what you're doing to support women in the trucking industry. I understand you've had a lot of sponsors and organizations who've helped you along the way to empower women. If you want to give a shout out to them, we'd love to hear about them.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. We would like to provide the names to them all. So I'll start off. We have Bush Benefits, Gotham Beauty Marks, Genesis Preferred, Six Figure Trucking Academy, Commercial Insurance Association, DMV Financial One Stop, Polk Testing, Prime Link Express, Full Tank Retirement, Empress of Trucking, Pin Your Point, Daddy Daughter Trucking Academy, LOTR Recruiting University, Panty Buddy, Road Perk Brands, LMRC Trucking, LLG Transportation Consultants, LNJ Enterprises, Well Driven, Connects One Freight Agency LLC, Trucking for Christ, Mo D Transportation, OTR Wife Holding the Home Front, Tees for Us Now. And then we have See Him, Chattanooga Zoo, She Prints It, Real Women in Trucking, A Touch of Heaven, 89 Photography, Big Rig Kids, Unique Benefits, Tony Boston, That Low Board, Transfix, Inner Portal.
Just to name the few. And we really are looking for additional sponsors and vendors to be a part of this wonderful historic event.
Well, I think it's just phenomenal what you're doing. And you, like you said, you have an event coming up in September. Could you kind of run down the itinerary again of what's going to be, when it's going to be, where it's going to be, and what you're going to be doing?
So it's September the 17th through the 19th. It is Trucker Appreciation Week. This is the S.H.E Trucking Expo. Day one, we're going to have the expo with the truck and paint event. This day two, we're going to have the expo again, and we're having an all-black gala. It's Dress to Impress. Come out your trucking clothes and let's dress up, okay? And then day three, we're having an old-fashioned cookout. Literally 80s, 90s style, like old-fashioned cookout. We're going to be outside. We're going to play games. We got many activities going on during that time.
And this is during the Driver Appreciation Week. So it's very appropriate timing, and people can have the opportunity to talk to you folks and say, hey, I'd like to get into this, but this is what I want to do. What do you recommend? There'll be opportunities to do that there. Absolutely.
It'll be the huge opportunity to be able to network and build relationships at this event.
And probably get information on training. I think that might be one of the obstacles. People think, gee, I can't afford the training. How do I go about this? Because isn't the average training to get a CDL in some of the schools like $7,000-8,000 or something?
It is. And so through our program, we have Miss Heidi Hart. She's also one of our sponsors as well. She actually sponsors a student for our program every month. And so once you come through our program of CFI, the trucking company, has just also signed on with us, where you can come through our program and go straight through school for free. You don't have to pay anything back. So we're just so honored to be able to help people get started where it doesn't matter what your finances look like.
Yeah, that's huge, because that keeps people out when they think, I don't want to have this huge debt hanging over my head. That's just very intimidating.
Absolutely.
And I like the fact that you're going to the high school level and saying, hey, this is what's out here, and you're offering a scholarship too. That's huge.
Absolutely. Yes, the purpose of the event is to be able to give a scholarship to young adults ages 18 to 21. We want to encourage more young adults to join, because I think if I had a joint at 18, it's nowhere. I don't know where I'll be right now, right? So we want to encourage more young adults to get into the industry and join and start their career off in transportation.
Oh, it can just change lives. It's plus trucking, you're driving across country in many cases. What a great experience, barring any nasty weather and stuff. I mean, there are downsides to every job, but you can see so much. I would imagine you guys love what you do. I mean, I could just hear it.
I most definitely do.
Yeah,
I do. I love it. I love my job. Yes, I do, for sure. It's something that I thought I could never do until I'm in it, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome, And for so long, I waited to get into the field, thinking that it wasn't for women. And like Sharae, she's opening those doors for more women so we're more comfortable being out here. So I love everything that she represents, and hopefully we can get more women out here so we can, the sisterhood is awesome. It is.
And that's important to know that you've got some people who have your back. That's huge.
And also, I run a YouTube channel and all different types of platforms. I am in the sisterhood group, so I post videos in there. I run a YouTube channel as well as TikTok, really allowing people to see how our journey is over the road. So if you guys are interested in looking at that, my platforms on all social media networks is Trucking with Aubrey. That's AUBRY. Again, that's Trucking with Aubrey, AUBRY. And you can actually see a video of what's going to be going on at the convention on my YouTube channel.
Excellent. How do people find She Trucking? I think that's a good place to start. And then they can kind of explore everything you guys offer.
They can go to our website, SH.com, and all of our everything that we offer is on the website. We have a list of trucking schools that you can get started with and everything. So you can go to SH.com. Also, you can find us on Facebook up under She Trucking Sisterhood. We're on Instagram, Twitter. We're on Clubhouse as well. So just Google She Trucking. You can find us. Also, I have a book coming out. It's on Amazon.
Oh, right.
It's called Building a Legacy by Sharae Moore. And so if you're
Building a Legacy, you said? Excellent.
Yes, ma'am. I talked about, how I built this platform. I give all the jewels about how to get started, the different trailer divisions you can go in. And also, I talk about how to structure your business as well. So, and that's on Amazon. Just look up. You can put in Sharae Moore, Building a Legacy by Sharae.
Building a Legacy by Sharae Moore on Amazon. Excellent. I would say that's a definitely well worth the read. Thank you so much, you guys. I've really enjoyed talking to all of you. I'm very excited with what you're doing for women. You're inspiring so many people. Yes, Tom?
Yeah, before we go, also for all of you, please check out our webpage, TNCRadio.LIVE. There's a segment on there about Memorial Day. We're doing a very special Memorial Day coming up where we want to collect from drivers their memories of people who they know who've been lost in war, and heroes who have passed away.
TNCRadio.LIVE, your commercial driver navigation station.
Hi, this is Tom Kelly, managing partner of S.H.E, LLC, doing business as TNCRadio.LIVE. The website TNCRadio.LIVE and any content or podcast related to the website are copyrights of S.H.E, LLC, copyright 2021. All rights reserved. Any redistribution or reproduction of all or any part of the contents in any form is prohibited other than the following. We welcome you to download and play the publicly available podcast and share with others for personal use. Please acknowledge TNCRadio.LIVE as the source of the material. You may not, except with our express written permission, distribute or commercially exploit the content. And while we endeavor to keep the information up to date and correct, we make no representations or warranties of any kind expressed or implied about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, suitability, or availability with respect to the website, the podcast, or the information, products, services, or related graphics contained on the website or podcast for any purpose. Any reliance you place on such information is therefore strictly at your own risk. For additional information, including details regarding monetization of this podcast, send email to podcasts@tncradio.live.